Breaking. 50 Cent just did the unthinkable land. If you thought the Ja Rule vs 50 beef was ancient history, think again, because 50 just leaked footage so savage, so humiliating, so downright career-ending that Ja Rule might need to enter witness protection from his own fanbase. This ain't no old diss track or petty Instagram post. Nope. This is allegedly unreleased, behind-the-scenes footage that exposes Ja Rule in a way nobody saw coming. We're talking full-blown meltdown, questionable vocals, and what one anonymous source is calling a cultural crime against hip-hop. And you already know 50 didn't just drop this out of nowhere. This is years of petty buildup exploding into a mushroom cloud of digital shame. What's on the tape? Why now? And did Irv Gotti really try to buy it back before it hit the net? Social media's in flames, fans are choosing sides, and somewhere in Queens, Ja might be throwing his phone across the room. Because if what we're hearing is true, this could be the final curtain call for a man who once ruled the charts and now might be getting ruled out. Buckle up. This isn't just a leak. It's a lyrical assassination. It all started with a cryptic tweet. No caption, no context, just a grainy screenshot of Ja Rule's face mid-scream with the word rewind stamped across the bottom. Within minutes, 50 Cent's name was trending worldwide. Instagram pages were losing their minds. And hip-hop blogs were foaming at the mouth with phrases like exclusive leak, unseen footage, and Ja Rule finished for good. But this wasn't just some recycled meme or petty jab. No, this was the moment 50 had been waiting for. The one thing he held onto, like a nuclear code for over a decade. And just like that, he pressed the big red button. Boom! The footage hit the web like a digital grenade, uploaded through a mysterious burner account, then reposted by every messy hip-hop gossip page alive. The clip showed what appeared to be Ja Rule backstage at a Murder Inc. event, arguing with someone off camera, clearly unaware he was being filmed. But here's the catch: it wasn't the yelling that got everyone talking. It was what Ja said in the heat of the moment. Slurred words, shaky hands, a confession that lit the internet on fire. According to several lip readers, digital forensic experts, and one anonymous source who claimed to have edited the video personally, Ja Rule could be heard saying something along the lines of "I only stayed quiet 'cause of the deal with them people. Supreme told me to play my role." Within hours, the internet did what it does best: speculated, exaggerated, and turned half sentences into full-blown scandals. People started pulling out receipts, old interviews, radio clips, even ancient hip-hop DX articles. Fans dug up old quotes from Irv Gotti defending Ja, clips of Supreme from VHS documentaries. And of course, that one time Ja Rule stormed off an interview when someone brought up 50 Cent's accusations of and now, here was Ja, on camera, possibly admitting he kept quiet about something serious, something Supreme-related. Now let's not pretend like 50 Cent didn't orchestrate this with the precision of a Hollywood villain. From the second the leak dropped, 50 was all over social media, laughing like a comic book character who just blew up the Batcave. He posted a fake obituary for Ja Rule's career with the caption, "Finally. Took long enough. #got him." Mind you, this is the same man who once bought 200 front-row tickets to a Ja Rule concert just so the seats would be empty. So this was just part 2 of a revenge story he never stopped writing. But the real question became, what exactly did Ja Rule mean in that footage? Was it a reference to the 2003 federal investigation into Murder Inc.? The same investigation that almost took down Irv Gotti, ruined Ya's momentum, and left the label scrambling for survival. At the time, feds alleged that Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the notorious drug lord behind the Supreme team, was laundering money through the label. And Ja Rule's name was dragged into headlines for being closely tied to the entire Murder Inc. empire. Back then, they beat the charges. Irv and his brother, Chris Lorenzo, walked free. And Ja Rule continued making music, though not quite at the level he once ruled. But something about this footage, this confession, made it feel like the case wasn't as closed as it seemed. Twitter detectives were having a field day, analyzing every movement, background noise, and shadow in the video. People claimed they could hear Irv Gotti's voice in the background trying to calm Ja down. Others said there was paperwork that would suddenly make sense now that this footage had surfaced. One user even claimed to have seen Ja with a binder labeled Federal Correspondence backstage at a tour date in 2005. Which obviously can't be verified, but welcome to the internet. And while fans argued back and forth, 50 kept fanning the flames. He posted a photoshopped image of Ja Rule in a courtroom with the caption "Order in the Rat Trap." followed by a clip from one of Ya's old videos where he's in handcuffs, with 50's song Window Shopper playing in the background. Cold. But 50 didn't stop there. He went on IG Live that same night, smirking the whole time, drinking champagne, and saying, "They said I was lying. They said I made it all up. Now look, I don't even have to say it." He said it himself. That's what happens when the pressure hits and you forget the cameras never stop rolling. Whether he was bluffing or not, it didn't matter. Public opinion was already spiraling. Hip-hop fans love a comeback story, but they love a downfall even more. You had people commenting, things like Ja snitched on himself, should have kept his mouth shut. And Supreme, watching this from the feds, like you serious? Bro. Even blogs that usually avoided drama were now covering the leak. Page 6 ran the headline, Ja Rule's career in flames, leaked footage connects rapper to Supreme scandal. And TMZ, never one to miss a mess, claimed an insider. Source said multiple streaming platforms were re-evaluating Ja Rule's catalog presence. What does that even mean? No one knows. But it sounds juicy. Meanwhile, Ja Rule stayed quiet. Completely silent. No tweets, no Instagram rants, no press statements. Nothing. And for yahoos known to clap back at trolls, critics, and even sandwich jokes, that silence was deafening. People started wondering if lawyers were involved. If a cease and desist was coming. If Irv Gotti was calling in favors from the industry elite to do damage control. Theories flew faster than a Versus recap. But let's not forget the real elephant in the room. This wasn't just about one piece of footage. This was about everything that led up to this moment. The years of tension. The never-ending back and forth. The endless trolling from 50 Cent that Ja never quite escaped. Remember when Ja tried to make a comeback and the Fyre Festival happened instead? That disaster became a meme faster than his mixtape dropped. And who was there clowning him? Every step of the way, 50. And now, just when Ja was starting to reappear at festivals, doing nostalgia tours, appearing in podcasts, and reclaiming a bit of his legacy boom, 50 drops the hammer. Again, but now it wasn't just jokes, it wasn't just petty. Now, it looked like a full-blown exposé, the kind of moment that could have real consequences, not just for Ja, but for anyone tied to that past. If that footage gets pulled into court, if any old files get reopened, or if someone comes forward with a statement, things could spiral real fast. Because if there's one thing the hip-hop world has proven time and time again, it's that loyalty is paper thin when feds come knocking. And just like that, the streets started whispering again. Is Ja Rule the fall guy? Did 50 sit on this footage for over a decade just waiting to end him permanently? Is this about revenge or just entertainment? And just when fans thought it couldn't get any messier, the second wave hit like a tsunami of embarrassment. Because the full video is the complete, uncut, high-definition embarrassment of a man clinging to the remnants of his career dropped like a nuclear bomb across every platform from YouTube to TikTok. Allegedly filmed back in 2017, but buried under what insiders are calling a very expensive NDA coffin. The footage shows Ja Rule in a dimly lit Miami studio attempting to stage a comeback track that never saw daylight. Tanned for good. Reason: the audio is painfully off-key. The lyrics feel like a midlife crisis set to a ringtone beat, and at one point, Ja is seen arguing with a visibly disinterested producer who appears to be texting someone under the desk. Sources close to the scene claimed the original plan was to pitch the track as a surprise hit for the BET Hip Hop Awards, but according to one anonymous engineer, even the auto-tune refused to cooperate. To make matters worse, there's a section where Ja tries to recreate the vibe of his early 2000s hooks, complete with a forced, gravelly growl that had fans online comparing him to a malfunctioning garbage disposal. Twitter exploded with reaction, clips, stitch videos, and duets mocking every second of the footage. While 50 Cent sat back, liked tweets, and posted popcorn memes like the petty king he is. But that wasn't even the end of it, because almost immediately, after the footage went viral, ALLEGATIONS started resurfacing about Ja Rule's financial mismanagement, including unpaid taxes. A mysterious missing $300,000 from a failed crypto venture called Arlocoin. And let's not forget the Fyre Festival disaster, which social media decided to relive all over again. Suddenly, the internet was pulling receipts from every corner of his past. From awkward Breakfast Club interviews to those cringeworthy Fire Island promos where Ja promised an elite experience and delivered wet mattresses and cheese slices on foam trays. And then the bombshell dropped: an alleged ex-business partner named Rico Stacks Johnson came forward in a now-deleted Instagram Live, claiming that Ja Rule had tried to pay hush money to bury the embarrassing footage years ago. He knew that footage would end him, Rico said, casually sipping from a neon green cup. So he told me and the engineer he'd toss us 10 grand each to delete it. I ain't delete nothing. I kept that file like it was insurance. This set the tone for an entire day of internet sleuthing as fans began dissecting the footage frame by frame, pointing out strange moments like Ja looking directly into the camera and whispering "I still got it" as if trying to convince himself. And a background figure blurred but unmistakably wearing a murder ink chain shaking his head in disbelief. Even hip-hop legends began weighing in. Fat Joe tweeted, then deleted, "Damn, that's rough, my brother." While the game reposted the footage with the caption, "That ain't it, champ." Meanwhile, 50 Cent posted a photoshopped movie poster titled, "The Fall of Rule," a Netflix comedy, and tagged Ja Rule with the caption "Encore, please." While many expected Ja to clap back, his only response was a vague IG story that said they hate to see a legend rise, accompanied by the song Clapback playing faintly in the background, which fans instantly roasted for its irony. But the damage was already done. Within hours, hip-hop blogs declared Yaz's comeback officially cremated, and marketing execs allegedly began pulling his name off pending Nostalgia Tour posters, with one venue manager in Atlanta telling local press, "We'll just replace him with Soulja Boy or something, at least he's meme-worthy." A few fans tried to come to his defense, claiming the footage was taken out of context or possibly deep-faked, but when 50 Cent posted side-by-side comparisons with timestamps, date logs, and metadata, those theories crumbled like Yaz's dignity. One producer even released a text thread allegedly showing Ja begging him to work some magic and make it sound less desperate. But it's hard to polish a legacy that's being stomped into the digital dirt by your longest-standing rival and a global audience laughing in real. Then came the petitions. Yes, actual online petitions began circulating to ban Ja Rule from the booth, with OneChange.org entry collecting over 50,000 signatures in less than 12 hours. TikTok users started a viral challenge mimicking the leaked video's most awkward hook, and Instagram Reels flooded with parody versions of Yaz's meltdown moment, turning what was supposed to be a hush-hush studio session into a full-blown cultural roast. And through it all, 50 Cent remained eerily quiet, letting the storm he triggered do all the talking. But insiders say this silence isn't humility, it's strategy. Word is, 50's planning a full rollout of never-before-seen clips, screenshots, and DMs tied to a mysterious vault labeled The Last Days of Rule, and the internet is already foaming at the mouth. According to one source embedded in GeoNet's inner circle, 50's been sitting on this for years like it's a final season plot twist. This leak, it's just the pilot episode. If true, and there's more dirt coming, then what we just witnessed isn't the end of Ja Rule's career, it's the demolition announcement, and the detonator is in 50's hands. No press conference. No mercy, just one calculated post at a time. And just when it felt like Ja Rule had been dragged through every corner of the internet. Part 3 of the humiliation saga erupted with a level of chaos that even his harshest critics didn't see coming, because out of nowhere came the leaked phone call that pulled the final thread from whatever fabric of credibility he had left. And it was not just any phone call, this was reportedly a recorded conversation between Ja Rule and a former ROCI fella executive, who is now working in podcast media, and somehow, the audio found its way into a very enthusiastic blogger's inbox, and within minutes, the recording was making rounds across every gossip page and reaction channel, with headlines screaming that Ja Rule begged for a sympathy tour slot. And what made it even worse was the tone of the conversation, as Ja can clearly be heard trying to play the victim card, talking about how 50 Cent had been bullying him for 2 decades and how he was tired of being seen as the joke of hip-hop and wanted one last chance to tell his truth on stage. But instead of getting empathy, the internet roasted him into oblivion, because the desperation in his voice didn't inspire respect, it triggered second-hand embarrassment across generations of hip-hop fans, who once screamed his hooks at summer barbecues, but now couldn't even look him up without feeling awkward. And what really set the fire ablaze was when the blogger who leaked the call went live and claimed there's even more where that came from, including voicemails and emails, where Ja Rule allegedly tried to cut private deals to buy out the footage of the leaked studio session, offering favors instead of cash, and naming names that shocked people from New York to LA. And it wasn't just random industry folks he dragged into his mess, but legends, people like Irv Gotti and Ashanti, who he reportedly blamed for not helping a real one when it mattered, according to one source who claims to have direct screenshots of the emails. And if that wasn't wild enough, 50 Cent decided it was finally time to return to the front lines, and he did it, in true 50 fashion, with a 4-part Instagram slideshow that included clips from Ja Rule's worst performances, meme-filled recreations of the leaked footage, and a caption that simply said, "He asked for peace, I gave him pieces," which sent the internet into hysterics. And at that point it became clear this wasn't just a feud anymore, it was a historical takedown in slow motion, and Ja Rule had absolutely no control over it anymore. And while some fans started asking whether it was time to leave him alone and let the man breathe, others argued that when you spend decades pretending you still run a game that moved on without you, eventually the game returns with receipts, and Ja Rule's inbox seems full of them, because another devastating twist came when a former assistant claimed on TikTok that Ja had been planning a tell-all documentary to regain sympathy from fans, titled The Real Rule, which was allegedly meant to reframe his career as the misunderstood journey of a king wronged by the industry. But now that footage is being shopped around by producers who no longer want to help him but rather expose him and turn it into a comedy series instead, with one executive reportedly pitching it as a hybrid between a music documentary and a roast session. And it gets even more ridiculous because TMZ reported that Yaz's team reached out to Netflix and Hulu for possible collaboration, and both platforms allegedly ghosted him like he was spam email, with one Netflix insider telling a reporter off the record that the story's already being told by the memes. "We don't need to dramatize what's already tragicomedy." And if that wasn't enough to bury any hope of a comeback, a verified entertainment lawyer posted on X that Ja Rule might soon face legal action for defamation, depending on what else leaks from those voicemails and emails, especially if more names are dragged into the mud without consent. And now people are questioning not just his credibility but his mental stability, with some fans expressing concern that the downward spiral could get darker if someone in his camp doesn't intervene. And while the sympathy grows louder, so does the laughter, as every day a new remix, meme clip or reaction video surfaces, with creators turning his leaked audio into parody songs, ringtone packs, and even AI covers where Yaz's voice is mashed up with TikTok trend tracks. And of course, 50 Cent continues to fan the flames without saying much, just letting his loyal followers clown Ya on every post, while dropping subtle hints that a full-length expose might be on the way. And apparently he's not bluffing, because DJ Akademiks went live claiming that 50 Cent has been gathering receipts for years, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash a final compilation video titled 21 Years Later, and it reportedly includes never-before-seen footage, behind-the-scenes recordings, and even rejected apology drafts from Ja Rule himself. And if that's true, the fallout might not just be career-ending, it might erase Ja from the conversation entirely, leaving only GIFs, memes, and parody clips as his lasting digital legacy. And now the conversation has shifted from will Ja make a comeback to will Ja disappear altogether, because every attempt he's made to respond has only added fuel to the fire, like the Instagram live he did 2 nights ago where he tried to address the leaks but couldn't stop ranting about haters and how real ones don't fold under pressure. But viewers noted how defensive, scattered, and borderline erratic he sounded, and comments poured in faster than he could scroll, with people saying "This ain't it, Rule, and bro, just log off already." And the live ended abruptly after just 12 minutes, with Ja muttering, "I'm done with this clown *T," before slamming the camera and going offline. And since then nothing, not a post, not a tweet, not a peep, and the silence is only making people more curious, more suspicious, and more ruthless with their jokes, because when a man who built a legacy on loud hooks and louder swagger goes quiet after being clowned by the very people who once danced to his hits, it doesn't look like strategy, it looks like surrender. And as fans dig through the rubble of what was once Murder Inc.'s loudest voice, one thing is becoming crystal clear: Ja Rule didn't just lose a battle, he lost the script, the mic, and the last ounce of public patience. And unless a miracle happens, or 50 Cent decides to get bored and move on, this might just be the most spectacular self-destruction hip-hop has ever watched in real time, with popcorn in one hand and a TikTok loop playing in the other. If you thought this story was wild, just wait, because the internet never sleeps and the drama is far from over. Make sure you hit that like button if you've been following this saga from the start, and drop a comment below to let us know whose side you're really on. Are you Team Ja trying to salvage a legacy, or Team 50 keeping receipts and clowning all the way to the bank? Either way, this isn't just celebrity drama, it's a digital legacy being rewritten before our eyes, one leak at a time. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because we're keeping our eyes on every twist, turn, voicemail, and viral clip in this never-ending feud. And trust, there's more coming. We've got insiders watching, sources leaking, and receipts being verified daily. So buckle up, because this ride is nowhere near finished. Share this video with a friend who still thinks Ja Rule might have a comeback left, and let them know, in 2025, the internet decides who stays and who gets streamed into meme history. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss what's next. Because when the next audio drops, you'll want to be the first to hear it.